In this video, I get a 5-second penalty. What really? Was it my fault? And I decide to send it as I go in the middle of two cars. Hello everyone, and welcome to a Gran Turismo video where we start looking at the daily races, and the one we're interested in, as you can tell by the thumbnail, Daily Race B. It's got tuning, and I actually think this is quite a good race in terms of an idea. The problem is the execution. Let's jump into that first race. We are then on that one then, and in this one, all we've done is lower the downforce. Lower the downforce, we've kept everything else the same, because there is tuning in this race, and even when I was doing this on the evening, people have no idea why some people were going 2 billion miles an hour quicker than everybody else. Speaking of the devil here, we've got Cal GT4 just dropping back here because they're on a completely different setup. They don't realise you can tune the car and actually alter the downforce. That's what I've done here, just lower the downforce, and that's what I said for you to do to initially get up to speed. We've got the outside and down there. That was so close going into this turn number one. Well, I would consider turn number one. We get a slight tap from behind there. Unfortunately for me, that's going to do one thing, and that's give me a 0.5 penalty, as you see my reaction right there. Very frustrating because they need to take that out of the game. I have put that in the feedback group as well. If you get hit from behind and then go into a barrier, that shouldn't be your fault. It really shouldn't. You shouldn't get a penalty for it, but even so, I have got a penalty. I know Dan didn't mean that. It was just accidental. They've got far more downforce, so they expect me to be going quicker, but I've got no downforce, so I can't go quicker through the corner. We get mugged and go all the way back to P15, which is of course last, because somebody decided not to even start the race, and we are going to see that yellow flag for them in just a second. And here we go then. There is the yellow flag. So this race, crazy, absolutely crazy. If they'd taken the setups off, I feel this race would actually be a little bit better, because nobody was expecting Group 1 in the first place at High Speed Ring. But look at the difference in speed. It's a different class of car, essentially. It's like LMP1 and LMP2 in terms of that speed difference right there as we go into the braking zone once again. And if we can have it in, oh, the Italian into the Brit there. The Brit comes back there. We managed to recover it. All fair game. However, it's not all fair game because we get a 5-second penalty. That wasn't our fault, and we got a 5-second. That's unbelievable. Gran Turismo's penalty system is one of the most shocking I've ever experienced in not in Gran Turismo, in racing or penalty systems in general in any game. It's awful. That's absolutely awful. Just aboard the Swiss driver here who's just clipped the curb and got off. Now, if you have low downforce, you have to be so careful of that because that will spin you out if you've got low downforce and I haven't changed the suspension. Now, we are going to be changing the suspension a little bit in this video, and I am going to show you the setup I am using. We jumped to lap number 4 then. We get on the inside. We do catch up to everybody here as we go on the inside and Dan then in towards this left-hander. Really having to slope there because we can't use the banking. And look at that, the downforce cars go flying on by here as we head towards the chicane. JetBlue with that 1-second penalty as we go into this right-hander, just slowing down nicely. Now, if all these guys have the high downforce one, the straight is going to be easy pickings for me, that is for sure. As we continue on through here then, looking to get out of that corner alongside the German then. There's a penalty there for JetBlue just being taken, so we do gain a couple of places. We're making our way back through the grid, thankfully, here as we go into the left-hander, and we have to slow it down a little bit there. Look at the difference there. It's insane. Just clean along the outside there for McMarv. Then they hit the brick wall of air, and then they just drop back. Look at that. Look at the difference. Half a second already. It's insane. It's literally seconds. And we are going to talk about that as we go through this. And even just small... Oh, my word. I forgot about that one. In the middle. 3 wide. You see my reaction there. That was a scary overtake, but we managed to make it work as we go into the left-hander there. But yeah, even if you lower the downforce, but then also alter the suspension, the change in the car is insane. It's absolutely insane as we continue on through here. And this is why I'm talking about this race being a little bit chaotic, carnagey, all the usual stuff. Destruction Derby as I hit the wall on the last corner. Get a 0.5-second penalty, but it's all good. I was obviously just trying something there as we head towards the line then. And that's the end of the first race. So yeah, this race, pure carnage based on the setups. But I did want to try and improve here and update the setup a little bit to see if I could make it go a little bit quicker, because I saw Eagle was at the top and he could do flat in some of the corners. So I made it some more alterations, and in this one I altered the suspension so everyone's on max value, and then also the downforce was down low again. So here we go with this one. Just trying to judge where Rio is going here as we go on by and in towards the first banking then. And once again, we are catching up to people very quickly, going around the outside of the Italian. Sparks flying everywhere. That's a good part of this race, by the way. Those sparks, really nice to see that graphical addition. as we head in towards the left-hander. And JetBlue's gone round that huge crash because, oh, I've just been absolutely hit into the barrier there as well. Hopefully I don't get a penalty for that one. Somebody else is going slow on the right-hand side here, down the inside of Vert. So we have gained a lot of places when all's said and done here. Oh, no, Vert's going round the outside, so they've obviously got a bit more downforce than myself as we go into the left-hander. Now, you actually don't reduce downforce all the way, I've discovered, and I will go through the setup at the end of this video. You can jump to it if you really want to in terms of down below. But even so, watch this race, watch the other race as well. It's going to show true action and true entertainment value. Somebody's been stuck on the barrier up ahead. We get on the inside of Vert there, and there's a slight tap there as I go for a spin. Now, I'm going to actually review that one because I felt I was on the inside and they had plenty of space on the outside. But even so, was that my fault? That is the question. So let's have a look at it from... Actually, this is JetBlue, first of all. The incident in towards turn number 2. Oh, absolutely rear-ended there completely. They went round. That was a huge crash. Really was a huge crash. What we're going to do now is jump on board Vert here. So going through the left then, and they're up on the outer banking, and they just come back down a little bit there. It's not their fault. They obviously had the line. I wasn't expecting them to come back down. And that's the other problem with this race, which we will get onto, is the difference in skill levels and setups. It amplifies stuff so much. Oh, we got somebody else into the barrier, slightly grazed them as they tried to recover the car. Unfortunately, I don't get a penalty for that one, so we are in P14, looking to catch up to everybody else. And we have been trying to catch people here. We do have the fastest lap of the race so far. There's the Italian. We'll go around them. Look at that. It's like they're in a different class. I said it earlier. They are in a different class of car there, and we maintain that position. So up into P13. We're now looking to catch Baron here, and Baron is going a bit slow there. 2-second penalty for Baron as well. Shout out to you. I met Baron IRL as well as we go in towards turn number 1 then, and we are catching the switch track. Look at the speed difference. Look at it. It's like 30 miles an hour. I had to decide where they were going very quickly. So we are now through, and we're looking at a top 10 again. After that massive crash at the start of the race, we potentially could get a top 10. There's the German, and who else is in this one? I assume Verts is in this one. Verts didn't actually lose that much from that incident, so it was on me anyway, so it's all fair game. In fact, there they are. They've just got a penalty, and we're overtaking 3 cars. There we go. Up into P8 we go. We are catching Nick in P7 extremely quickly here. That's also the country where Wi-Fi code is from, and Wi-Fi code is also called Nick. I see JetBlue there on the inside, so we're about to overtake them here. We're up into P7. Now, where can we go here? Nick defends that one, so we have to slow down a little bit here going into this left-hander. Have to really slow up there. JetBlue then gets the advantage with that, well, more downforce on that car, and is so on the outside here. Now, for us to maintain is going to be very difficult because they've got all the grip. As you can see there, around the outside of me and Nick. Up into P6, JetBlue goes as we go into the left-hander. We're just trying to keep with them for now because the second we get onto that straight and get over 200 miles an hour, they should come back to us very quickly indeed. So we're heading towards the final corner for the second time here. And don't worry, I will be showing you that setup very, very soon as we go through this left-hander. Nick's very close to the barrier there as we look to decide where to go. We got on the outside of Nick. JetBlue has got at this point. We've got somebody else coming in here. Look at this. It's going to be very close at the end. But we just do it there. We come home in P7, which, after a massive crash, isn't too bad, but you are seeing the absolute carnage of this race so far. You can see there's no way pluses other than me in here at the moment, which is pretty mental. Now, technically, this is race number 4. We'll get into race number 3 shortly, but we are starting at the back. Now, in this one, I changed the setup to the setup I would use right now, which can get you into the mid to low 55s in practice. This setup is unbelievable. It really is. It's another level. So blowing the downforce to the minimum is sort of the first stage. Getting the suspension right is the second stage, and once you do this, it's just insane. This car is another level. We've just overtaken 3 cars already here as we head to what I would consider turn number 1, but technically it's turn 2. And going through here, we carry a lot of speed then. Everybody on the right side, so we're going to go down the left-hand side. 3 cars in one straight. That is nailed here, and we are definitely on for a good result already. Bearing in mind, we are coming from the back of the pack. Baron there with a penalty. Going to get the inside of Baron. Then we go to chase cam just to show what is happening here as we leave this corner. Going to leave Baron a little bit of space. There we go. Leaving Baron some space. Got Uncle Phil there on the right side, the German driver. I'm looking to get advantage for them. But we're on the inside here, which isn't the greatest place to be for this last corner. I've got to just keep in mind Phil is there. Otherwise, I could end up understeering them into a barrier. And when you don't want to wall people on this one, you really don't. Anyway, you can see there, they all increased their gap a little bit. And that's because I'm running a tiny bit of downforce. There's only a tiny bit. Oh, speaking of wall, somebody got walled there. We're getting a couple more places then. Where's Uncle Phil going? Staying towards the right-hand side here. They're 2, 3 wide up ahead. No, 2 wide. Now 3 wide. all kicking off in this one then. And we are trying to go for a race victory here. As we go into the left-hander, we slow it down then, and then we're going to beat it out of here. We should have that position. P6 then, happy to... Oh, into the barrier. Phil's going to come back at me there. And we drop back down to P7 then as we head towards the last corner. You are seeing some good racing here in terms of that, but it's still chaotic. I had to think during this race constantly about braking zones on another level. Normally, if everyone's in the same setup, you can at least judge it a little bit and brake it a little bit earlier. As you see that, I had to absolutely hammer on the anchors. But sometimes I just got it wrong. I really did get it wrong in the fact that I was braking very late compared to other people, and if they're in different downforce, etc. It was just weird. The whole thing was weird. Anyway, we're in the fight still here for P3 right now. The German there goes a bit deep there as we get on the inside of the German. Slight tap between us as we exit the corner. We are just ahead then, so we do get P6 finally. When all said and done, we got a penalty here for Dirty Dream. It's not the Dirty Dream you want there with that penalty. In towards the left we go. And looking to try and maintain the speed. Not going to work here, Dirty Dream. Look at the speed maintained through that. That's unbelievable stuff here. But do they have low downforce or not? Not too sure. Maybe it's just because I was compromised here. As we go on to lap number 4, and we've got Flonado behind here then, and up ahead they are fighting each other as well. So I was looking to make sure to defend from this. Well, I got a bit nervous here with them on the left-hand side. Saw me look down the left-hand side, but as we go into this braking zone, I brake just a tiny bit too late. It wasn't actually that bad, but I absolutely rear-end Tuscafant there, and I can't get anywhere at this point. Get rear-ended completely here. I get a 4-second penalty, which is fair enough because I hit the car in front, and it was completely on me. And that's going to drop me all the way to the back again. All the way. All that work, all that racing, and all from a small mistake, and everybody braking early as well. So, you know, you're not going to see many A+ people in this one because of the really big gaps between people in this. In terms of, you normally have gaps between skill levels, but when you have setup gaps and skill level gaps, it's just too much. It really is too much, and you'll hear that from a lot of people. And it sounds massively big-headed because obviously I just crashed into someone, and that isn't showing any skill at all. But just in terms of speed here. Up ahead, there's contact between those two guys there, so we're going to get on the inside of them. Job done. Happy days here as we look to catch up to this German. Then in towards the braking zone, we slow it down nicely. Lap number 7, this one. So we've still got time here to get back into the top 10, which, after a huge penalty and a huge crash as well, I will happily take because I'm trying to reduce the amount of DR I'm losing on this account right now as we go into the right-hander. So we are up into P11. There's a penalty up ahead for somebody. Oh, it's Tuscafant who I hit earlier on. I did apologize after the race as well. I'll say it was on me, that one. Even though I didn't brake that late because it's a 100 board, it was still late enough that I would absolutely rear-ended them. And you did see me trying to avoid them as well. I did point my car towards the barrier, but that's all I could do. Uncle Phil going a bit slow through here, which does compromise me a little bit then as we continue on through here. And we are going to be in that slipstream then. We're going to stay straight here now as we continue on. And weirdly, that driver just goes across my nose. You're probably like, Tidge, you weren't going in a straight line. My steering did not move an inch. And we are going to have a look at that shortly, just to prove a point with that one, because some people will be like, Tidge is dirty. Look at this race. Crashing everywhere. No, it's not the case at all. I do make mistakes, though. I will happily accept that. Now, going around the outside, broke in the same place there. Notice there the difference in speed. Unfortunately, Phil rams me against the barrier there. But again, the same place, same braking zone. I had to go on the outside there. Fortunately, there's space. Now, look at this. I've slowed this down. Look, they turn right a little bit. They turn right again. And then they clip the nose. And then they're going for a big old spin there. So you can see the red dot there. You didn't know. That's your steering input. They clearly there turn right slightly, and that is what causes them to crash and spin out. Jump towards the end of the race then, and we come home somewhere just not relevant at all. Not relevant. Well, I wanted a good race in this one, and side at the back was not working out well. It really wasn't, just because of the fact that of the different skill levels, different braking zones, and different setups as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to start towards the front, and Razor jumped in this one, so we're hopefully going to have a good final race. This is using that same setup, which I'll show after this one then, as we kick off this race in the slipstream of Razor. Now, looking at this, you don't actually gain that much at the start of a race in the slipstream, so that's good to know for the future. And you can just sit in the slipstream all the way to the end of lap 1, and this is where you can benefit. So here we go. It's me versus Razor. In fact, we've got somebody behind there bump drafting me as well. I bump draft Razor here then, and here we've got It Sucks. And they're going to go towards the left-hand side. So we've got to give them some space. I would leave larger spaces than normal here as well in this Group 1 because it does vary in terms of the degree of turning, it can go across the track very quickly. We head in towards turn 1. I could see what was going to happen here, so I hit the brakes a little bit earlier, and I get on the inside of both of them there due to that crash. And we're in P1. We're finally in P1. We jumped to lap number 6, and I've been racing around here, but unfortunately, I am going to slightly tap the barrier there, and that is going to give me a 0.5 second penalty. And see my face there. We jumped to the final lap of the race then. Racer did get into the slipstream because of that one then. We're actually going to have a good last lap battle. Now, let's see what we can do here versus Razor. So you can have some good racing here, and you are about to see that with Razor. When you've got similar setups, it's fine. So this race, in my opinion, and I've talked about the execution in the title, essentially. If there was no setups, I think this race would have been better. The fact they've opened the setups, and I'd argue they don't even know what the setups are about, because they said you could change transmission, but you can't change the transmission in reality, even though they've enabled the option because of BOP. But, you know, take setups off in this situation, because it's actually caused the race to become less balanced rather than more balanced. Anyway, we're in the slipstream and we're heading towards the final corner. Let's see what we can do then as we approach this final corner. In towards the left we go. We're carrying more speed than normal in terms of race pace here as we continue on through the corner. We're going to be in the slipstream then as we head towards the line. We're going to be getting closer and closer, but we are not going to do it right there. And we come home in PT. So we still haven't won a race. But hopefully this shows you that this setup can actually work at high speed ring if you do want to use it and do want to do this race. I do highly advise you try this race at least once anyway. So I'm going to show you the setup here. So it's 1,000 in terms of the rear downforce. We go to 550 on the front, so we gain 50 downforce, okay, on the front. That helps massively with the last turn. Anti-roll bars on 10. If you're struggling with oversteer, just knock them back down to 5. You should be fine. 40-40 for compression, 50-50 for expansion. Natural frequency down to 3.5. That was a big win when I've discovered that. And then this was a big win as well. 565. Now, I don't actually know what I'm doing with setups. I'll be brutally honest with you. I really have no idea. Also, my brake balance was +5. But that is the setup I'm using. It seems to work very well. You may want to improve on it a little bit more. Now, what a funny story here. I joined, but I hadn't done the setup. So here's a test whether you can do the setup in time before the race. So here we go. Whack it down to 550. And then we're going to go back up a little bit because we can't get there in time. 550. The question is, can we do it before the start of the race? So this is the warm-up right now. So we're down to 1,000. Whack that up to 10. As you just saw, whack that up to 40 again, just in case you're unsure with the setup. 50. 50. You can see we're doing this quite quickly. All the way down to 3.5. It's a good job it's min maxes here. Down to 3.5, and then we want 560 and 5. And you see warm-up's completed there. We haven't quite done the setup, and I'm pretty sure it said it's going to check. But however, I jumped into the race. No pace, no speed. It didn't apply it. There is literally not enough time to apply the setup, which is stupid, Gran Turismo. Please sort that out for this for setup races in the future. Give us a minute in the warm-up to at least apply the setup. It seems mental. Or allow us to save the setup so we can just click load. That would be the 9,000 IQ strategy. That's all I'm going to say. I did finish that race, but it wasn't as fun. But it did allow me to break it in terms of better with everybody else, because obviously I wasn't carrying as much speed. That's going to be it for me, folks. I do hope you have enjoyed this race. If you did, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. Stay in touch with all the latest content. And I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon. And make sure you check out those partners down below.